KY3 News on the Ozarks CW starts now.
A man is dead after being shot at a house in Springfield this afternoon. The shooter got away and is still on the loose right now. I'm Ethan Forhetz.
I'm Lisa Rose. It happened about 5 o'clock this evening near Chestnut and Grant. Nikki Ogle is live with what we know now. Nikki?
Guys, this is still a very active scene as police continue to look for evidence. Just down the street here on Brower Street, police still have caution tape up around the house where a man was shot. Police were called here before 5 for a report of an assault. What they found was a man had been shot. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Police tell us the person who pulled the trigger was gone and is still on the loose at this time. We talked to a neighbor who has lived in Springfield for most of his life. He says there aren't many disturbances here on this street, and one shooting won't make him leave the area.
I've lived here since 1968. I went to Central High School, which back then was the Breakfast High School in Springfield. It happens. You know, it happens. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You just go home with your life.
The name of the man who died has not yet been released. We're told the Criminal Investigations Division is here on scene and plans to work through the night collecting evidence. We'll continue to look into this and bring you the latest information. Live in Springfield, I'm Nikki Ogle.
Well, some light showers tonight, but it's just a preview of what's ahead this week.
Yeah, several inches of rain are expected in some spots this week. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Ron Hurst in the First Alert Center with that first forecast.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Again, we have a first alert out for early on Thursday morning for the potential of heavy rain, mostly down in northern Arkansas, but we're going to include portions of extreme southern Missouri in this too. Threat level right now is down on the low end because this is more of a flooding type event than it is a severe weather event. Now, the rain on Thursday should not be confused with the rain that we are getting across the area tonight. We have some lighter showers that are straddling I-44 from Rolla back through Fort Leonard Wood and Lebanon to Buffalo, up around Bolivar, getting some light rain, and some of that is coming into northern Greene County right now. Again, this is not severe. Some of this is not even hitting the ground, but again, there are some light showers out there, so the road is going to be wet in spots, so you may need the windshield wipers this evening, so be careful. As far as how much rain is going to fall tonight, not very much. We're talking generally less than 1/10 of an inch across the viewing area, but watch what happens as we take you further into time as we start getting into early on Thursday morning. We're talking 1.5 to 2.5 inches, maybe slightly more in some spots across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. This could lead to a little flooding, especially since we've had so much rain this year, so that certainly is why we are concerned. As far as this rain tonight, it'll continue for the next couple of hours. It'll gradually work its way onto the east and come to an end by tomorrow morning, so we don't have to worry about the early morning commute, and then tomorrow we should have plenty of sunshine all day long. Speaking of that morning commute, the sky should be in the process of clearing. Temperatures will dip into the upper 30s, but I think we're going to warm pretty quickly tomorrow with that sunshine and get up to about 42 degrees by 8 a.m. Guys?
All right, there's a combined state, federal, and local effort now to combat violent crime in Springfield. Of course, we just had that fatal shooting in Springfield tonight. Francis Watson is in our newsroom tonight with more.
And there's a lot happening behind the scenes in law enforcement's efforts to cut down on violent and drug crimes in our area. Local and federal authorities are teaming up to create a task force unlike anything we've seen before. And state and federal prosecutors, well, they're also partnering on a different initiative to help keep us safe.
It's all interrelated, and all those things come together with the ultimate goal, keeping people safe, taking bad guys off the streets so that you don't have to worry about them.
We're going to, go after the bad guys, and we're going to put them in jail. People deserve to feel safe.
Local, state, and federal authorities are working on new ways to increase our safety.
The FBI approached me and said, we'd like to give you agents to work in your agency to assist you with violent crime and see what cases we might be able to take on the federal level.
The Career Criminal Task Force will be made up of 2 FBI agents and 4 Springfield Police Department detectives that'll focus on a list of repeat offenders to bring them up on federal charges with harsher jail sentences.
I don't want people to get the idea that all of a sudden we're bringing more resources because there's more going on. We still have the same things we've been dealing with for the last couple of years, but this will allow us to maybe address those in a more comprehensive manner.
This is part of our larger effort to work with law enforcement agencies, to work with local police officers.
The Missouri Attorney General's office started its Safer Streets initiative in southwest Missouri at the end of summer.
We're the first AG's office to partner with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Tim Garrison's been a great partner to work with on this.
The goal is to work with the feds to prosecute crimes also at a federal level.
We're going to stay at it. We're just getting started, and hopefully we can be part of the solution.
Finding more effective ways to keep dangerous criminals locked up.
Anything we can do to work together and make people feel safer certainly is worth our while.
Springfield City Council just signed off on the Career Criminal Task Force tonight at their meeting. Springfield Police will also get some additional equipment thanks to the Springfield Police Association, or Foundation rather. The state AG's office says 16 indictments have been handed up since the Safer Streets initiative has been active in the Ozarks. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Frances Watson.
Missouri senators are trying to find a way to fight a rise in gun violence in the state's largest cities. Today they heard testimony from police, attorneys, and gun distributors. One recommendation was a red flag law, which would allow police to temporarily take away a person's gun if that person is deemed to be a threat to himself or others. Much of the testimony was also devoted to fixing the background check system. An expert from the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis claimed a federal universal background check could cut gun deaths in half. But a Springfield attorney and gun distributor says we already have background checks. We just need to make sure they have all the info.
So if your goal is to understand the relationship between mental illness and the acquisition of firearms, you better make sure, respectfully, that we're reporting our mental health data to the NICS computer system. Otherwise, background checks are going to do nothing.
The committee will present its findings to the full Senate when lawmakers return for legislative session in January. A man who once sat on death row for killing two brothers in Aurora has died in prison. The state says 44-year-old Brandon Hutchinson died of natural causes at the state lockup in Licking.
Christine Morton spoke to the victim's family today. They say the murders changed their family forever.
I don't wish death upon anyone, but two great men had their lives taken over ignorance.
Jesse Yates lives in Aurora with his family, in the same town where his uncles Ronald and Brian Yates grew up too. Jesse was just 15 when his uncles were killed.
Really looked up to him a lot.
Jesse says his uncles were 2 of 5 brothers. On the day of the crime, he says there was even confusion over who had been killed.
Especially back then, things like that didn't really happen around here. And so it was very, very shocking.
During a New Year's Eve party in 1996, both brothers were shot inside an auto body shop in Verona. Their bodies were found on a muddy road near Freistadt. Brandon Hutchinson was convicted of killing the brothers.
After more than 20 years, the building where the murder took place is still standing. But the man responsible for that murder is now gone.
Now he has to answer for what he did.
Hutchinson was originally sentenced to death, but in 2011, the Supreme Court reversed the sentence to life in prison, which ended with his death at age 44 in the South Central Correctional Center.
You can do something wrong and be sorry for it, but how can you be sorry for torturing 2 men to death? I mean, now he has to answer for his sins.
Jesse says the passing of Hutchinson does bring a sense of closure, but their lives and the meaning of a holiday will never be the same.
New Year's, instead of a day of celebrating with champagne and hats, it's remembering, the ones we lost,
In Aurora, I'm Christine Morton.
In other news tonight, Missouri voters are headed to the polls tomorrow, and some voters will be deciding they want to pay more taxes to improve public safety. The city of Lebanon is asking that question in the form of a half-cent sales tax that could raise more than $1 million a year. That money would allow the city to hire more police officers and firefighters and replace some aging gear. The city says it would also be able to open a 3rd fire station. Before you head to the polls tomorrow, go to ky3.com. We have a list of the sample ballots on our homepage. Just click on this link and then click on your county. Working just 4 days a week. How would that be?
I imagine it would be very nice.
It would be like having a long weekend every week.
I feel like it would be pretty good. Why Microsoft says it's starting to look like a good deal for the company as well.
Number 1 in the Ozarks. You're watching KY3 News at 9 on the Ozarks.